Guys, gals, and fellow gender non-conforming pals, welcome back. I'm C28, and I had a great time in lab. So let's get on to it. Vlog, what is this, 24? I think it's 24. Let's do it. I'll go load up my notes from class so we can follow through. But yeah. Lecture 3, our topic was multitimbral mode. Basically, how do you get more than one sound at the same time? So we went over essentially just MIDI channels on your synthesizers, on your different MIDI controllers, and how those work, how you can properly route everything through a computer. We went through aggregate devices on Mac OS X. We went over how to set up different MIDI, what are they called even? Let me see. What was that name? There are fancy names for them. I cannot find it, but there's similar to aggregate devices, which are for audio. There's a similar version for MIDI, where you can set up different MIDI devices, and when you load up Logic, it'll actually have the name of your instrument instead of just channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, and it'll be a lot nicer to use. So yeah, we were pretty much going over workflow things today. I learned a bunch of really cool tips, like, stupid, right? T on Logic is the tool thing, so you can change your tool. I always went to the top, change, secondary, cool, and I always just had command as my secondary tool, and I would swap my secondary tool every time I needed to change. It's so much faster to go TY, TP, TU, TI, TL, and like whatever they are. This is going to improve my workflow so much. Plus, we learned about aliasing with files. So you can take your MIDI data and get an alias from it. Aliases in Mac OS X are always the same. They're pretty much just shortcuts, like in Windows. You click on it and it opens the file which is somewhere else. So in Logic, what you can do is you can hit Option, Shift, Drag. When you drag your thing, you create an alias. Whatever you do anywhere else in the project to the original will change the alias. So it's a little bit different than having your loops, where you can loop something and then all the other loops change. Because this can be cut. You could have the same sort of thing going on in your verse, your other verse, your other verse, and they're all separated by choruses, bridges, everything else. But now you can just simply edit one, edit the rest. You're recording something, you're like, you know what, that hi-hat right there in that placement, it's awful. You could go through all three and delete them manually. Or if there are aliases, you could delete just the one, now they're all gone. If they're clones anyway, why clone them? And just an outstanding workflow tip, don't ever have clones. Never make clones. Just make aliases or loops. That's it. It makes things so much easier. So much easier. The only time you should ever make a clone is if you're editing that clone. Like, seriously, today has just like massively improved what my workflow is going to be like in Logic. For the most part, we're going over that. We're talking about also, what was it, parts per quarter note? Is that what it stands for? Yeah, parts per quarter note, which is the resolution of quantization. So when you quantize something, it gets the average and it just like pushes it to the bar that it should be in. Well, that resolution is your PBQN, parts per quarter note. And how many individual sections do you have per quarter note? And the resolution could be anywhere from 96 parts per quarter note, or it could be 960 parts per quarter note. So, big difference. Yeah, so if you want to quantize something, you don't want it to be where you're playing dun da 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 da, and it goes dun 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 dun, and you just have like these bloody chord notes. Like, what happened to my 8th notes, my 16th notes? What happened here? you want that quality, so you can have everything quantized right. And maybe 30-second notes. You want 30-second notes? You're gonna need better. You need a higher PPQN. Do you want even higher? Do you want 190? What are the 196 notes? If you want 196 notes, you're gonna need a very high PPQN. So going over that and system specifications, how it's worked over the years with different software. We even went into like old like 80s software, 80s sequencers, all black and white and stuff. Let's see if we can pull up images here. Boom. So it's probably hard to see, but you'll see like all these, that orange you see is black because it's just artifacting from my camera, taking a photo of a projector screen. It's just the 1980s black and white screens, that's what it is. Maybe sometimes green. Yeah, but lab was really cool. I really liked lab. If we had all our projects done for the week, which I did, we could kind of just do whatever, and that was the lab. The lab was just, hey, do whatever. So I made a song in lab today, and I got to mess around with the Moog Mother 32, the System 1, what the hell is it called? I keep forgetting the names. Of course, just like the last vlog, I was like, I don't know the names of everything else, but whatever. And also another one called the Virus, which is a very fun synth. But yeah, working with these analog synths to craft the song was very fun. In fact, the System 1 is, I think, a digital synth, but it has an analog like interface. So it's all like digital stuff on the inside, but you got dials and stuff you can move around, so it looks analog, but it's not. It's also very thin, which should give it away. Transistor based. Yeah. So no, not too much to talk about today, but I think that's good enough. You know, we're going over specifications of how software works, how to optimize your software, how to go into your computer and make things better for you. Yeah. And I won't leave you hanging. Once you see the C2A credits, which will be the first time in the vlog that they happen, I pretty much only do C2A logo at the end whenever I'm editing. Whenever I'm not editing, it just like it just cuts out whenever I do it, and that's it. But this one will have C2A logo at the end, and you will hear the song I made. So yeah, if you got any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to them and post your comment here and respond to it in a future video. Unless it's a really simple question. Without further ado, take care, God bless, and goodbye, YouTube.